Shabbat Shalom. Have a joyous occasion to celebrate and to be together on this Shabbat. On Wednesday night, I got home a little bit late from work, and I went to turn on my computer and check my email. And I don't know if this ever happens to you, but Google said you've been logged out of all your Google accounts. I said, fine. I'll log back in. I remember I have a password manager. The password manager will log me back in. Click on that. It says, I've been logged out of my password manager. Okay, no problem. Type in the password. It's wrong. And then I remembered a few days earlier, I changed my password to my password manager because I was being password responsible. Oy. So I said I would reset the password and it would send me a code as a text message and I could get back in. Press the button, wait a few seconds, wait a minute, another minute, no text message comes. Try it again. Same thing. Okay. It says it can call you. It will call me with my text code message. Great. Wait for the call. No call. All right, so this is now a little bit of a small problem. I realize I'll just close all the windows to my computer, restart the browser, and everything will be fine. I'll get the text. I start panicking a little bit. And I saw another window open. Don't ask how many windows open I have, but I had another window open and I could still see all my passwords. So I realized I'll just quickly copy all the passwords down. An hour later, my eyes slightly glazed over and my head spinning from copying down 16-digit nonsensical passwords that the computer had come up with. I said, okay, I'll reset everything and everything will be fine. I even had this paper backup. I don't know why I just didn't copy them into another file, but in any case, I reset the password. I logged in. You can't get in. Your account has been locked because you've tried too many times to log in. It's a bit of a dark moment, and frustrating moment for me that night. Sometimes things don't work out the way we want them to. Sometimes they don't work the way they should. Even like a silly thing, like losing access to all of your passwords can take you down a rabbit hole that can last for hours. And sometimes it's much worse. There are many ways we can find ourselves at the edge of despair. Merely turn on the news almost any day. There can be important reasons, trivial ones. Sometimes it's just not easy to roll with all the things around us. That darkness that seems far away can quickly descend upon us. Now, of course, darkness is a big part of this week's parashah. The 9th plague, darkness. Unlike many of the other plagues, it just arrives unannounced. It descends everywhere. As the text says, choshech afelah, a thick darkness. You can almost put out your hand and touch it. In our Eitz Chaim Chumash, Rabbi Kushner says that maybe it wasn't merely a physical darkness, but a spiritual or psychological darkness, like a deep depression. That's not so easy to escape. But embedded in this parashah is also a glimmer of hope. If not a way out, then at least a way to move forward. The first commandment that the Israelites received is not the Passover sacrifice or telling the story of the Exodus, which we might think. And as Russell noted, those happen later in the parashah. The first commandment is actually to observe Rosh Chodesh, to observe this mini celebration of the new month. Now, the traditional explanation of why this is simple logic. In order to mark sacred time, we all need to be on the same page. We all need to start counting from the same day. We have to agree on when the new month begins. Think about like the Passover Seder. It begins on the 15th of the month, so you need to know when the month begins. Otherwise, you'll invite all your guests. They'll come the night before. It'll be very awkward. We have to think about a time before Google Calendar, even when you can't log in, or before any calendar, right? Everyone needed to know what date it was. Now, I want to offer another, perhaps less simply logical explanation, but maybe a deeper spiritual one, and to understand this commandment a little bit differently. The rabbis wanted us to pause as the new month comes in, as the moon starts to shine again, and as that sliver of light appears in the sky. They wanted us to appreciate this new waxing light. And they offer us a ceremony. It's called Kiddush Levana, the sanctification of the moon. Now, it's not that well known because many of the rituals that were seen as less rational or more visceral were kind of pushed aside in modern times in many aspects of Judaism. But as I always like to say, those rituals have great power, whether it's putting on tefillin or building a sukkah or going to the mikveh. There's something very visceral about many of these rituals. Kiddush Levana is a monthly moment where we're supposed to go outside and look at the moon. You have to do it between the 3rd and the 15th of the month. So tonight after Shabbat is one of those moments. You have to see the moon as it's getting brighter and more full of light. We recite a bracha, appreciating the beauty of nature and the hope that light brings. While this tradition bears some similarities to ancient pagan rites from which it probably originated, there's a major difference. The moon is not a god in our tradition. It's a spark. It's a spark that reminds us of God's sovereignty. It reminds us of the spiritual grandeur that exists in every corner of the world, even on the edge of darkness. Joyfully, we're supposed to go out and celebrate this renewal of hope and of life. And the new month reminds us that there can be all kinds of new possibilities, including new life can suddenly open for us. We don't bless the new moon, but we are enraptured in a moment of Heschelian radical amazement. A minion of 10 people is encouraged and preferred for the experience, which can be shared with song and great delight. The Talmud says you should go over to someone and give them a hug. The Talmud sort of reminding us to bring down this light into our relationships. Some people sing songs like David Melech Yisrael to think about the Messianic age, reminding us that we need not be trapped in darkness, whether it's the darkness of our own doing or the darkness that descends upon us that we have no control. We're offered a moment to search out the light. The moon, in appreciating it, awakens us to the realization that can help us break out of difficult places and moments. While it might not be easy, there are always slivers of light. Hope may not shine as brightly as the sun, but the moon is there. Now, for me, as I got a little frustrated after these hours of going nowhere in my computer, I had a more mundane sliver of light appear in the corner of my screen. It said, "Click here to revert to the previous password." And I remembered my previous password exactly. That was good. I clicked, and after a few more hoops I won't go into, everything was restored. Look for the sliver of light. Shabbat Shalom.